It took me 20 years and over 1.5 billion in closed real estate to learn the 6 lessons I'm about to share with you. And I can tell you, none of these are what you think. They're not about marketing. They're not another YouTube flex video. They're about what you say, the actual conversations that win or lose listings, convert or lose buyers, and separate agents making $500,000 a year from the ones making $50K. Most agents think if they just had better leads or more marketing spend, they'd break through. I've built my business on both, but they're not what separates a $500,000 agent from a $50,000 agent. It's the 6 conversations you're either winning or losing every single week. I run the #1 team in Connecticut with over 1.5 billion in transactions. I've role-played with over 2,400 agents inside of BAMX. I do it every single week. This is what I've seen work at the highest level. Here are the 6 lessons with the exact scripts. Let's go. Lesson number 1. Most agents walk into a listing appointment, they sit down at the kitchen table and start presenting. Here's my background, my resume, here's my marketing plan, here's my track record. That's wrong. The listing appointment is won or lost before you ever sit down, and it has nothing to do with presenting. The second you sit down at that table, the seller's guard goes up. Their brain categorizes you as another agent, a salesperson trying to get their listing. You're in pitch mode. Everything you say after that is filtered through skepticism. You've lost before you've started. What you do instead is you don't sit down. You ask them to show you the house. Before we get into anything, would you mind walking me through? I want to see it through your eyes, so I can envision it as buyers will as they're walking through in the future. That's the move. You're not there to tour the home. You're there to disarm them. People love talking about the things they're proud of. The kitchen they've renovated, the deck they built, the room they painted for their children. The second they start showing you, the walls come down. While they're walking you through, you're asking questions. How long have you been here? What made you fall in love with this place? What made you put pen to paper and write on the deal? What are you going to miss the most about this home? You're not interviewing them, you're having a conversation. By the time you actually sit down at the table, they're not talking to an agent anymore. They're talking to someone who gets it. Now you can ask the harder questions. What's driving the timeline? When do they need to be at their next location? What the number needs to be for them to get there? Because the rapport is already built. The next listing appointment, don't sit down. Ask for the tour first, let them show off, ask 3 questions while you're walking. Then sit down. Now that tour sets the frame. But the next mistake agents make is even more costly. And it happens the moment you finally do sit down and the conversation turns to price. Lesson 2, and this might be the most important one. The agents who consistently win listings don't pitch. They educate. The seller has probably already met with 2 or 3 agents before you, or they have 2 or 3 appointments scheduled after you. Every one of them walked in and pitched. You're going to do the opposite. Most sellers have no idea what actually goes into selling a home in today's market. They think they do. They've watched videos, they scrolled Realtor.com and Zillow, talked to neighbors, and heard from maybe even other agents. But nobody has actually sat down and walked them through it. And until somebody does, they're making the biggest financial decision of their life with half the information. So here's the question I want you to memorize. Has anyone actually taken the time to walk you through what it takes to get a home sold in today's market? That question does 3 things. It exposes that nobody else has done it. It positions you as the person who's about to. And it gives you permission to teach instead of pitch. 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. So you say, would it be okay if I did that with you? I want to make sure that whoever you choose, whether it's me or another agent, you're making this decision with the full picture. Now their guard drops the rest of the way. You're not a salesperson anymore. You're a guide. From that point forward, everything you say lands as education, not as a pitch. Write that question down word for word. Then build out the 10-minute education that follows. When you can teach that better than anyone else, you don't have to ask for the listing. They'll give it to you. Now, once you've earned the right to educate, you have to be ready for the moment the conversation turns to price. Lesson 3, the pricing conversation. This is where most agents either lose the listing or leave money on the table. And it's because they walk in with one number and they try to defend it. The seller is anchored to a number. They have something in their mind before you ever show up. If you walk in with a different one and try to just talk them down, you're in a fight. You're creating friction you can't win. So you separate list price from sales price. Those are two different things. The list price is the invitation. The sales price is what a real buyer agrees to pay once you've created demand. Here's the script. Before we talk numbers, let me separate two things that confuse almost everyone. The list price and the sales price are not the same thing. The list price is how we invite buyers to your home to start conversing about the home, to start considering tours, to start scheduling tours, and to start ultimately writing offers. The sales price is what a real qualified buyer ultimately agrees to pay once we've created that level of demand. My job is to run the strategy that gets you the best sales price through buyer demand, not to win a guessing contest on list price. To do that, we use 3 pricing strategies. Then you walk them through. Aspirational pricing, it's a broad strategy priced above the comps. Perceived market value, price where the data supports. Event-based pricing, slightly under to spark buyer demand. Then you close with, for a home like yours, aspirational pricing doesn't serve you. So we have 2 smart options. Price right where the market sees it and attract fair offers quickly, or price slightly under to engineer a bidding war. Which one feels more aligned with your goals? Do you want certainty or do you want leverage? Then stop talking. Let them choose. If they get stuck, think of the list price as an opening bid in an auction. The sales price is the winning bid. If I can use a lower invitation to create multiple offers, to create more buyer demand that push your net higher, are you okay with that? You don't live in the list price. You live in the result. Now, once they've picked a strategy, there's one more objection that's coming, and it's the price drop conversation. Lesson 4, most agents handle pricing in 2 phases, the listing appointment and then the awkward call weeks later asking for a reduction. That's why it turns into a fight. The fix is to collapse those 2 conversations into one. It's called the 10-10-0 rule. In the first 10 days, if we see 0 showings, or in the first 10 showings, we see 0 offers, that's our signal from the market to adjust the invitation price together. Here's how you say it. Because I take this seriously, I use a simple rule with every client so we can make smart, unemotional decisions together. It's called the 10-10-0 rule. In the first 10 days, if we see 0 showings, or the first 10 showings, we see 0 offers, that's our signal to adjust the invitation price together. We're not guessing. We're watching the response from the market, and we already have a plan. Does that feel fair to you? Then wait. They'll agree. Later, when the data comes in, you say this. As promised, we're at that point now. We've had X amount of showings and no offers. The market is telling us buyers like the home, but not at this price. My recommendation is we adjust the invitation price so we can move from being shopped to being chosen. How are you feeling about making that adjustment? You're not asking. You're enforcing an agreement that took place at the listing presentation. That's how you avoid the fight. Now, everything so far has been on the listing side, but there's a massive opportunity on the buyer side. Lesson 5, stop saying just checking in. That sentence is why your leads ghost you. It tells them you have nothing new to say, you need something from them, and you're just like every other agent. Instead, use an open fact question, an OFQ. Call with something. Hey, 3 homes just hit the market in your neighborhood this week. 2 of them are under what we talked about. Did you happen to see those? Or interest rates this morning dropped a 1/4 point, which means your buyer power just went up. Did your lender call you on that yet? Specific question, direct relevance. Open question, now they engage. Delete just checking in permanently. Before every call, ask yourself, what's one thing they don't know yet that I do? That's your opener. Now, the last lesson. If I could go back 20 years and tell my younger self one thing, it would be this. Stop trying to convince people and start trying to understand them. I used to think being great was about having the best pitch. I was wrong. The agents who win are the ones who make the client feel heard. Every script you just heard works for the same reason. It puts the other person first. Before your next conversation, ask yourself, what is this person actually fearful of? If you can answer that, the script writes itself. Those are the 6 lessons from over 1.5 billion in real estate. The listing appointment is won before you ever sit down. Stop pitching and start educating. Master the pricing conversation. Install the 10-10-0 rule up front. Use open fact follow-up, OFQs. And shift your mindset to understanding over convincing. If any of these hit, drop a comment and tell me which one you're taking on your next appointment. And if you want every script written out for you and role played with me and 2,400 other agents every single week, they're all inside of the BAMX community. Feel free to hit the link in the description below.